Do you think we'll have clarity on who the next president is on election night?
No, I don't. Now, not necessarily because of Arizona. I mean, we just had a poll come out this morning. New York Times, Siena has Trump up 5 in Arizona, and he's actually leading in all 6 of the polls there. And our average, he's up by about 2 points. So he's getting a little bit of separation with Kamala Harris in Arizona. But in Wisconsin, for example, Pennsylvania, those are both states that they're not going to start counting until after the polls close. And in Pennsylvania's case, I think they're going to, they could be counting for days in Pennsylvania. And that race is also very, very close, less than 1 percentage point in our Real Clear Politics average. So Pennsylvania looks like it's going to be the tipping point, the key to this election. And so I don't think we're going to know who the president is on election night.
And Blake, what are your thoughts?
So I was just wondering, you might know this, Tom. If we have, so it looks like we'll have less early voting than in 2020 overall.
Yep.
Does that improve? Does that mean we get more ballots counted on election night, the ones that are cast day of? Because I know there were issues in 2020 where they were talking like they had to open all of the envelopes. There was a lot of like busy work that had to be done with ballots that weren't counted, early ballots that weren't counted till election night. Do you have any insight on that?
Yeah, I mean, there like 43 states have some sort of early counting process, right? Because the ballots have to be processed before they, verified and all that before they can actually be tallied. And some states allow that to happen, days before, and some states, and then they allow the counting of those votes to start at a later date. But you're right. There are less early votes, less mail-in votes. It appears to be this time around, obviously, because there's, 2020 was during COVID, and a lot of people availed themselves of that option. And a lot of states have sort of clawed back some of those, some of the election laws from 2020. So I do think we'll have less votes. But again, in some of these states, we're talking millions and millions of votes. If they start counting after the polls close on election night, they're going to be counting for days. And again, in the 2 key states where that's going to happen is Wisconsin and Pennsylvania, both of which are absolutely razor thin right now.
Yeah, and Tom, again, even if all of this was done ethically and correctly and legally, can we all agree that these multiple days of counting has the appearance that deteriorates a fair and open process? This is not the way. There's got to be a better way. We know there's a better way to do this. But Tom, it's as if they're begging for people to lose, to get off balance.
Yeah, and especially because of the disparity with which the votes, right? Democrats avail themselves of mail-in ballots and early vote much more than Republicans. So you get this idea of, Republicans typically vote day of, and Trump had encouraged. He's been a little bit more amenable to telling folks to do mail-in balloting, but for the most part, he was like, show up on election day. So all of Trump's votes get tallied early, and he goes out to a big lead. And then, as they open some of these mail ballots and start tallying those, his lead dissipates. And as we get overnight, we saw this in Wisconsin last time around, Milwaukee at 3 a.m. or whatever, when some of these dumps come in of absentee ballots. And it invites the idea that, everything is not on the up and up. And obviously that is not good for the Republic. It's not good for, the foundation of our democracy and our elections.
I agree. Tom, I think we have you for another segment here. So would love to, and I just want to say, Tom, I'm doing my part. I visit Real Clear Politics 55 times a day. So you're getting my CPMs. So
okay, very good.
Constantly refresh. It is the premier website. And I got to do better. In off election years, I might visit RCP a couple times. But as soon as you guys have the best horse race coverage, and I know you have other stuff in addition to that. It's not a knock on that other stuff. But once I start to lock in and I want to see where a presidential race is at, I'm sure you see it in the web traffic, Tom. I'm sure it just goes to the moon.